matrix, could be a new genre. What you do is you have a focus track and then you have interrupter tracks. So what I wanted to do here is have several different tracks, which are these right here, that I could run a gate through. And the gate is located on the main focus track channel. And there are several gates here because each of these gates, 1, 2, 3, one is controlling this section, one is controlling this section, one is controlling this section. And they're each different, and yet they can be utilized on the same channel, which is cool. And if you're using this as ducking, you can leave it open and engaged, but if you're using it as a gate, you have to keep it bypassed. Anyways, so you can use one gate to control multiple instruments, which is what I wanted to show. So this is a stack of instruments, and I'll just give a quick example. Now with this last one, I wanted to show how adjusting the gate would change how, drastically how the sound is perceived and how it interacts with the focus track. Now what it is this last one here is still running through this first gate, but then I do the same sound through a different gate altogether, which proves that you can have multiple gates on one track, and also the gates can have a different effect. But of course we're using this as a ducker to be able to do that. Alright, so on this last one, it's very cool as well, but it's a bypass track because it has the gating feature engaged instead of the ducking. And so it's going to engage once it starts here. And what's going to happen there is the drum will play simultaneously . So we can get a kind of an idea of how you can mess with a track rhythmically so that you can either use the focus track as like a way to interrupt it, or you can use it as a way to dub an additional rhythm so that you can have the focus track kind of morph into something else that you're playing. So it's very cool like that. And this Logic noise gate is very powerful. I didn't really realize it. And what makes it a matrix is its capability to have like all these multiple gate routings. So I almost feel like there's a plugin missing in action that has like a modular setup, and probably a plugin maker like Melda has something similar to this. But basically, imagine you have like 64 tracks and you wanted to do similar things. So if you had like 64 little bubbles, you get what I mean. It's like there's quite a bit of stuff that can happen here, and each of these things can have a different way of like interweaving with the focus track, and you can kind of flip around the roles as well. So there's a lot that can be done. So for instance, if I wanted this track to actually drive this, I would have a gate on this one and have things going in the reverse order. So anyways, it can get really crazy with gating, and it's very complicated to set up unless it's like you have it already as a template or something. So the gist of the gate matrix concept. Now, I've run some basic sounds through this. However, you could also utilize, drums, guitars, bass sounds, whatever sound design. Then you additionally can change how sharp the rhythm interacts with the actual focus sound, because a lot of times you want something that's really sharp and snappy, but it also has this kind of compressor pump as if it's fighting to get back into the sonic arena. So that's where you would mess with thresholds and ducking. On here I have all maximum reduction, maximum ducking, so you can kind of hear how one turns the other off very quickly.